That is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. And Jim, a busy weekend. It's finally over. And Soraya Martinez Ferrada is Montreal's new mayor. Give me a couple of takes here because I know we were kind of going back and forth earlier in the day. And my issue, and I'm sure it's yours too, is again the lack of voter turnout. I think we're somewhere,
Yeah,
I don't see the final figure. I think we're somewhere down around 35%, which is even lower than it was
I
back in
have, no, I
2021.
got good news,
Yeah?
Aaron. It skyrocketed to 37.09. I have the numbers right in front of me here.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of spooky, and people will say, well, people are they don't feel their vote count, and I think there's more to it than that. I think there's been we're seeing a real disconnect. As I mentioned, over the course of this campaign, we were seeing the same issue, the same problem in other municipalities. And I really get the impression that people are shrugging, and I'm not saying, well, it's not going to make a difference. It's maybe I don't think these people are going to make a difference. I haven't heard anything that makes me want to go out and vote. The reality is, and I do not wish to take away, I think the new mayor of Montreal, Madame Martinez Ferrada, ran a great campaign. She was out there. But the fact of the matter is we had 1.1 million registered voters on the island of Montreal for municipal elections. A total of 178,232 cast their ballots for Soraya, which basically gives her the mandate from 16% of the electorate. And yes, it counts because guess what? Those 1.1 million are the vast majority of them are taxpayers as well. They got skin in the game as well. Why did they stay home? And what can a sitting politician do to sort of eliminate that membrane, that wall that's being created? It's tough to do. Obviously, we're talking here about Montreal, but my God, the way things are happening up in Quebec City right now, the disconnect between this government and the rest of Quebec, God knows what the turnout is going to be like, in the next general election. But the fact is, this is a government in Montreal that, as far as I can tell, no matter what anybody wants to think, is going to be in full-blown damage control mode, at least for the first 6 months. We've already seen the new mayor say that her priority is to meet with both sides in the STM strike, try and get that settled as quickly as possible. And after that, her priority is homelessness. But once again, good luck with that. Because why? Because you can talk all you want, but the fact is, this is a provincial issue. And before people say, and I get a little hot on the collar when I hear this, Aaron, oh, it's a housing issue. No, it isn't. It's a health issue. It's a medical issue. It's an addiction issue. It's a mental health issue, okay? And the idea, the people who are living in tents out in districts of Montreal, in these little shanty towns, are not there because they couldn't find a cozy 3.5 with a nice view, okay? They're there because of any number of horrifying personal reasons. They need the help of the state. Clearly, they're not getting it, and this has been a reality for months. So, once again, my best of luck to Madame Ferrada. I really hope that she establishes a rapport with Monsieur Legault and tries to get the provincial government to do something other than point at Montreal as the great shaitan. I hope that attitude changes. But by and large, we cannot ignore that 2 out of 3 Montrealers stayed home. And I think it's going to be another part of the new mayor's job to convince them that this city is worth giving a damn over, because clearly that's not the case right now.
Jim, let me look at some of the races yesterday. There were some surprises here. A couple of people who have been in politics for quite some time municipally are no longer there. I'm looking at people like Palahawa out in St. Anne, obviously out in Point Claire, where Tim Thomas is basically done.
Yeah.
There have been a few of these. Are you surprised by this? Because, I know people talk about, the left and, they're leaning to the right. I think most voters don't think about who's to the left or who's to the right. They vote for who they think has either done a good job or who they've done a terrible job and vote against that person. So were you surprised to see some of these names not make it?
I don't want to mix apples and oranges because you're also mentioning suburban races. But the thing is, insofar as my utterly non-scientific survey of the election results from Montreal suggests, first of all, I didn't see a linguistic split here at all. I found that the voter turnout was just as low and pathetic in perceived, Anglo and Allo boroughs as they were in perceived Francophone boroughs. What I did find interesting was there was a higher turnout in boroughs where Projet Montréal managed to hang on to. And it seems to me there was a real effort to get the vote out and keep those people in power, even though they didn't keep control of the borough. A lot of people still stayed in. But you know what? I really think that if you get people who actually go out and vote in these things now, they're pretty much committed to doing so. And I got to tell you, if an incumbent was unseated, I think that was a pretty fair indicator that the electorate, rightly or wrongly, didn't think he or she did their job. I don't think it's a matter of rolling the dice or some vagary. I think there really was an issue that got people out on a miserable Sunday to vote, either out the incumbent or in the challenger. But I mean, this happens a lot, especially in municipal elections. But once again, overarching all of this, whether it's suburban, whether it's Montreal, whether it's any other city in Canada, these growing numbers of non-participants, these growing number of people are saying, you know what, I don't really care. That, as far as I'm concerned, beyond all of the incompetence that you and I talk about on a daily basis in Quebec City or in Ottawa, above and beyond any of that, as far as I'm concerned, is the biggest threat to our future politically, democratically, and quite frankly, in terms of development as well. Because if people don't give a damn who gets put in charge of things, we see a situation, God help us, that exists south of the border. I hope it never happens here, but let's face it, nothing is impossible, and a lot of the problems we're seeing in the U.S. right now are based on the fact that people just shrug and say, I'm not going to bother, or what, how much damage can he do? Well, we're seeing that now. So maybe things will turn around, but it's going to depend 125% on the woman who just got elected mayor of Montreal.
Let me ask you this, to your point, though, Jim, about, the idea, it's kind of a shame on us for not going out and voting when we complain about everything and do nothing about it. Are you in the camp that thinks we need to do something about this? Because I know some countries do this. I've talked about this in the past.
I know.
Where if you don't vote, you're fined or something happens, but it's going to cost you one way or another. Are we at that stage here?
I think so. I absolutely think so. I know people say, well, it's my right if I want to stay home. Yeah, it's your right if you want to stay home. But much in the same way as people will argue, well, how come I have to pay health care for people who smoke and drink? Well, you know what? How come I have to pay a price for people who didn't bother to go out and vote and I wound up with an income? At least let a government at any level be a reflection of the people that it's supposed to represent. And if you don't want to show up, that's fine. And I'm not saying, a paralyzing fine. I'm saying, enough that you'll know that next time you want to go out, maybe $50, $75. I don't, no worse than a parking ticket. But the bottom line here is something's got to be done. I don't think the usual channels are working. Clearly, people are not being inspired by the political choices. Maybe that's the fault of the politicians. But until people figure out, and it's more than just about complaining, until people figure out that what you decide to do at the ballot box or even go to the ballot box will have a very tangible effect on your daily life, especially at the municipal level. Once you've learned that lesson, maybe more people will go out. But in the meantime, I guarantee you, Aaron, as much as a lot of people have called this show and said, oh, my God, it's time for a change. Get rid of that Project Montreal. I guarantee you people will be complaining about the current government within 6 months. It's a lead pipe cinch.
You think that long, really? Okay.
Oh, well,
You're being generous,
I'm in a magnanimous mood today, But, because it's the afterglow of the election. But the fact is, you know perfectly well, buddy, it's going to happen. And 9 times out of 10, the calls you'll be taking are from people who didn't even bother to vote.
Yeah, listen, I mean, that's kind of how it's worked here for the longest time. I mean, you go all the way back. I'm sure if we were doing open lines when Jean Drapeau was mayor, I'm sure we'd have taken those calls too, but
absolutely,
that's the way it goes.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you one last thing, Jim, and I was trying to understand this, and maybe you can help. Craig Sauvé finished fourth. He actually ended up behind Gilbert Thibodeau, right, which is a bit of a surprise, given that he has a history in the city, right? He's been a council person for many years. What happens to him now by virtue of the fact that he lost and didn't have anyone running in his place that he could say, if they won, I'll take his place? Is he done politically?
Well, I don't know if he's done politically. I just heard you talking about the possibility of another federal election, and he did stand for the NDP in the last vote. I'm not worried about Craig Sauvé. Like I said, I think he's a stand-up guy. A lot of people have issues with his politics, and I found his politics to a certain extent maybe a little too far left for a lot of the taste of people here in Montreal. But I got to tell you, even the way we're talking right now, Gilbert Thibodeau, this guy comes out of nowhere. And it's almost like, but it's not a really good simile. It's almost like when Melanie Joly was running against Denis Coderre and came in second and went, who the hell is this? But this guy here, he's been trying, forever to get elected. He comes up, and all of a sudden, he gets some media attention, and people are going, hey, you know, and people are nodding as the guy speaks, and he got the votes to show that. Now, it's a minuscule amount of votes, but you know what, as you say, more than Craig Silvek, and who knows, maybe that's what it's going to take from now on for people to pay a little more attention, have people who perhaps, have politicians who perhaps talk to you rather than the reporter or the special interest group or the special sector of society that they're trying to please at that given moment. I think Mr. Thibodeau did that, which is why we saw it. Maybe it could be the light at the end of the tunnel, the start of something new. Who knows? But right now, you know, we rolled the dice. We got to play the cards we're dealt, and it's going to be a very, very interesting 4 years.
That it will be. Did you catch Soraya today during the press conference at all, Jim?
Yes, bits and pieces. Yeah,
Okay.
I saw her this morning as well when she was doing her walkabout, which was like perfect. That was absolutely perfect. So yeah, I mean, she's not a newbie. She's got this figured out. This is not her first rodeo. But anyway, yeah, it all worked out okay. But once again, I think that's another reason. Maybe a lot of people stay at home. Don't talk to me. Show me what you got.
We shall see. James Mennie at the Montreal Gazette. Thank you, Jim.
The newest tracks. Let's go. New music. And the next big thing.
Always on the new music first.
Your first place to hear it all.
'Cause you gon' like it, love it, wanna play it twice. Playing now.
iHeart New Music. Your digital station for brand new drops, fresh finds, and tomorrow's bangers.
I think we need something new.
Discover iHeart New Music. Always fresh, always first. Stream now on the free iHeartRadio app.